Hey Virgo, welcome to your April reading. I'm excited to read for you. How are you doing? Whew, there's no words, right, for the time that we're going through. I mean, there are plenty, but not a lot that I want to say on YouTube right off the bat. But I hope you're doing well. I hope your people are doing well, and I really hope that the message that comes through for you today really helps you. So I want to start with a channeled message that Spirit brought through that was very interesting. I never know what to expect, and it's always like never ceases to amaze me, and sometimes challenge me. And this was one of those where Spirit was talking about, for you Virgo in April, the distillation process. And they were talking about, okay, so the long and short of it, when you distill water, you boil it, and you only at the end of the process take the vapor that has become droplets, that is completely free of minerals, etc., any impurities, right? And that made a lot of sense to me, like, Virgo trying to rid things of impurities. But what Spirit was actually trying to get at was this. When you distill water, you're removing all trace minerals, the good and the bad. So yes, you're getting rid of all kinds of, heavy metals and things like that you really don't want to be ingesting, but you're also getting rid of like magnesium and things like that are actually really good for us and that are necessary. So Virgo, you might not be too surprised to hear that Spirit is telling your sign nothing is ever completely sterile and clean, or else we lose some important essence. So I'm interested to see how this plays with your cards, but I want to tell you not to feel like you have to distill everything in your life down to something. Like, this must be this way or it's not right, it's not perfect. Insert, It's Always Sunny Frank saying, I just want to be pure. If you understood that reference, then I feel you in my heart. Okay, Virgo, let's get into your reading. Let's get into your cards and see how that distillation message plays with what you've got here. See what Spirit wants to say about where you are in April, where you're headed, and the best possible way to get there. Wow. You know what Spirit just said to me, Virgo? This is making more and more sense as I turn over your cards, which I will show you in just a second. Fear is your friend. I know I can be opening a can of worms by saying that, but that is what Spirit is saying. Wow. Fear is your friend. And this is funny, but Spirit is also saying, listen, it's Aries season, so it's time to act a little bit like an Aries. They haven't said that for anybody else, Virgo. Your courage in the face of difficult circumstances is being called upon, and your creativity that maybe you don't get enough credit for. People think of you just as like, the kind of clean and perfect and all that sign. I get it, the distillation process. I'm even hearing it myself. But you're quite brave and willing to look at circumstances as they are. You're willing to point out the flaws and things like that. Now, Spirit is definitely bringing in that distilling message. You're willing to look at the flaws, and that is a good thing, except when you get obsessed with the flaws, right? So like, fuck, no, like I don't want any trace of anything bad in this, so I better distill the hell out of it. I better, maybe sometimes throw out the baby with the undistilled bathwater. And I would say, don't do that this month. Now I want to make a distinction here. I'm not telling anybody that if you know that there's a very bad situation, like somebody that you needed to get out of your life or something like that, I'm not telling you, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, take back that shitty boyfriend or whatever. No. I'm talking about if you have a project or something like that, or yes, like a relationship that is good but maybe not perfect, and thinking like, if this person doesn't just get their shit together right now, I'm going to freak out. You are coming up with some innovative solutions in April, so looking at the flaws is going to benefit you as long as you don't become obsessed. So let's talk about it. You have the Five of Pentacles right at the center of your reading, crossed by the Nine of Swords. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's be Virgo about it and acknowledge that that is tough. Those are hard cards. Five of Pentacles is, I can't believe how hard I'm having to struggle and work for the amount that I'm getting in return. And that can play out different ways. You recognize, of course, Virgo, these are general readings. If this were a personal reading, it would be very much more laser focused message on what this is for you. But what I'm hearing is, for some of you, very upfront, it's like my hours have been cut, or I've been let go, like laid off, furloughed, all these different things that are going on right now. Some of you are straight up dealing with, I don't have the same amount of money that I've been working with up till now, and I'm freaking out. Some of you are worried about that impending outcome, like the fear of that being what happens. Nine of Swords crossing your reading. I have to say, this card has come up in actually most of the readings I've done in April so far. Again, these are general and collective readings, and collectively we're dealing with some unprecedented difficulty and fear. And Nine of Swords is being in the grip of fear, and this is where Spirit is asking you, please don't get stuck here. You have a lot going for you, and actually through this process you can come up with, like I said, quite innovative solutions, and Spirit's telling you to act a little more like an Aries. What do they mean by that? Aries is the first sign. It's the pioneer. It's the sign that, a little bit like the Fool card, is like, I'm not afraid to look stupid. I'm not afraid to be the first one to try and even to fail, because I want to be the first one to win. Like, I want to be the first one to get to the end of the finish line, so I'm willing to like climb and roll and bust my knees, getting over the obstacle course of whatever it is between me and my challenge, right? So a sort of willingness to, in a way, surrender to how difficult it is. You know what I'm saying? And be like, yes, I sign up for this. Sometimes it's difficult to talk about this stuff without making it sound like, hey, buck up, buttercup. I know, like, you just got laid off, but it's all going to be fine. I'm not trying to do that, Virgo. Like, I'm not trying to condescend to you or make anybody feel like they just need to, like, paste a smile on and like, be like, yeah, look on the bright side. But, bear with me. The fives, which I've talked a lot about, like I said in the previous readings, because it's been coming up. We're in a challenging time when, characteristic of the fives, nobody really knows what the fuck they're doing. The fives are tests. That is my understanding in the tarot. The fives are tests, because it's like, I'm not all the way there. Am I ready, though? Am I willing to get past this thing to the next thing, to the victory or the defeat and the learning from the defeat, whatever it is? Am I willing to be done fucking around and actually, like, find out what the answer is? And Five of Pentacles is reminding us to look at what we have. Because especially, again, I fucking acknowledge, I'm not immune at all to what's going on right now, no pun intended. I acknowledge the difficulty, and that a lot of us are already having to deal with and work with having less and having not ideal conditions in all sorts of ways. But again, the fives ask whether we're going to get lost in this feeling or if we're going to find what we're looking for in this feeling. And Five of Pentacles is, you don't have much. What do you have? What can you work with, and what can you do with it? What are you willing to do with it? You have a lot of power, Virgo. In the position of where you find yourself, Queen of Cups, the card crowning your reading, the Magician. What's available to you? Strength. You have a lot of power, Virgo, and you're quite I feel that a lot of you have healing gifts, whether you think of them as such, maybe something you do creatively speaking, or just, artistically, you put some healing energy out into the world with what it is you do, Virgo. And for those of you for whom that resonates, Spirit is giving you a lot of gratitude, because they know you're doing this in a time that's really difficult. And you're still finding a way to try to put goodness into the world one way or another. You are appreciated. Spirit is acknowledging, like I said, your anxiety, and asking you to trust yourself, to trust your strength. You also have some help this month. You have the Three of Cups, you have the Two of Cups. both in very important positions. The Three of Cups and the perhaps unseen support that you have. Three of Cups is friendship. Three of Cups is getting together. Three of Cups is laughter and sharing of what we have. So yes, we may not be able to get together in each other's living rooms, but you know, we can get together over FaceTime. We can have like virtual watch parties and be like, I'm going to put on this movie at like 7 p.m. Friday night. Do you guys want to like watch it? And we can just have like a text chain where we like talk about this movie or whatever. This new show that's premiering. Let's all just have our phones out and be like, oh my God, can you believe she just said that? Or whatever. Some of you want to podcast. Some of you have something that is like, this is my healing or creative gift and I want to take the lead on this. And it's like, now's the time. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is where they're bringing me back to the distillation process. So Virgo, if you've been holding back on showing your art or trying, you know, this new thing that you want to do, we'll get to that in a second, acting like an Aries. Now is the time to trust yourself and take the lead. The Magician is the card of manifesting. It's the card of sudden change. It's the card of inspiration. Hello. I said we'd get there in a second, but we're already here. Okay, Spirit just said, as I'm looking at this Magician card, necessity is the mother of invention. So, again, I understand how this can be like, oh, thanks a lot, great, awesome, so my furlough or my layoff is just like so I can become the magician. Totally get it, not trying to say that, Virgo, but in a way, yes. Like, this tough situation is making you see things about yourself and recognize things about yourself, what you want, what you need, and specifically Spirit is also saying, and what you don't need. It's making it very clear, like, wow, I didn't even realize I had such an excess of this and other people are in need of it. Or like, wow, I have this, you know, skill, I can sew and I can like send my whole family some masks because like I know how to do this. I just have this in the back of my my back pocket and I haven't been doing anything about it. Some of you might be like, whoa, all of a sudden from having to go through this furlough or this layoff or even just this like working from home time where everything feels like it's been put on a gigantic pause, which it has, that you come up through this hanged man kind of time with this amazing idea and fresh new beginning. Some of you, Spirit is using the word revitalized. Some of you are going to be revitalized through this because it's like an awakening. Like I didn't know things were maybe this bad, or I didn't realize how much I can contribute to making things better for people in whatever way that is, Virgo. Not trying to put it on your shoulders here, saying what it is that you do have and what you personally are great at or have in great abundance, the extent to which you're willing to share even your limited resources. I think that you will see incredible returns for that. Not that you would be doing it for the returns, but the sense of, I'm going to say it, this is what I'm hearing, like the sense of power, the sense of connectedness, the sense of it's like self-efficacy, your ability, your strength. That is like what comes of this. Spirit is bringing me to the fact that the Hanged One is a card, yes, of surrender. It's also, like I said, it's everything being hit. You know, the giant pause button just got hit for all of us. But the Hanged Man represents not like a Two of Swords self-imposed, like, I don't know what to do. The Hanged One indicates a sacred pause. That there is something in this moment of stillness and meditation that is going to be revealed. Epiphany, Spirit just said. We're coming up on Easter, so if any of you are Catholic or Christian, you may relate to that to a date. Just throwing it out there because that's what I'm hearing. I also want to say, with this Strength card, what Spirit is saying to me is some of you are going to come up against situations where people disagree with you very strongly, or want you to do things very differently than you want to do them. And I want to tell you not to come at any conflicts you encounter with your guns blazing. I want you to think more of that strength card of, it's about inner strength. It's about your ability to withstand difficult circumstances and come out of these difficult circumstances as a stronger, better person, not a weaker or less good person, a diminished person. This is a distillation process for you too, but we don't want you to lose all your minerals along the way. We don't want you to become... We don't want you to hide away your gifts and your power in this scary time. We need them so badly. And I just feel that you having deeper compassion and understanding for how difficult this is for you is going to make you have a little more compassion for other people that are having a hard time and may come at you sideways. And you are going to come out better operating by kind of that golden rule of do unto others. Like, even though this person might be saying this certain thing or doing this certain thing that I don't understand and that upsets me, I'm going to choose to be the bigger person. I'm going to choose to act in a way that in 20 years, when I look back at how did I act when the world went insane, that I'm really proud. And that I feel that it was actually like, yes, it was a defining time. And I feel defined as a strong, kind, compassionate leader that shows up when people need me. Because that's what a leader is. It's not about, yes, Spirit referenced your power, but again, we're talking about inner power. But a leader is someone who, Spirit just said, who is like the sun. Where when the sun is around, things just get brighter and make more sense and people can see where they need to go. The sun isn't putting anybody under its thumb. The sun doesn't choose to nourish this flower instead of this grass. The sun nourishes all. The sun offers to all. No wonder Spirit was saying, like, there's the wand, there's the fire sign. Shine. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, Aries. Oh my God, see, I just called you Aries. I know you're Virgo. I promise I know you're Virgo, but Spirit keeps telling me Aries, Aries, Aries. Maybe some of you are also going to encounter an Aries or are working with an Aries right now, or someone with strong Aries placements, because I keep feeling that. Which brings me actually to the key and conclusion card. Another card that has come up for a few of the signs so far. The Two of Cups. Partnership, romance, exchange, support, chemistry. And for some of you, this is romantic, especially when I see the Queen of Cups, Three of Cups, Two of Cups all connected. You could definitely experience like a budding romance. Maybe it's like, oh, look, we can only talk through text right now, but things are going really well. Or it could be some of you were quarantined with a partner and it's like rediscovering. Some of you, it could be, well, now I have all the time in the world to work on this creative idea, and me and my friend have been wanting to do this anyway. So like we're getting together and we're making our thing. We're doing our podcast. We're making our website. We're whatever. Now's the time. New beginnings. This sacrifice and this sacred pause is bringing, again, I'm going to say the word that they told me, an epiphany. The Queen of Cups looks deep within herself, within her emotions, within her intuition, and sees the truth reflected gently back to her. And when other people come to her, this is what she has in common with that Strength card, where Spirit was saying, if somebody comes at you sideways or with a conflict, you want to be like the Strength card. You want to be like the Queen of Cups, where as this person is maybe unloading on you or whatever, where you're just looking back at them calmly and silently, even compassionately. And it's like that energy melts kind of the shrapnel that people might be trying to throw at you. It's just like, oh wow, you really needed to say that, huh? Okay, well, I'm glad that you said what you needed to say. I'm gonna go have a think about this. You have a good night. And like that other person is just like, fuck, I just unloaded on the Queen of Cups, and like she couldn't have been more graceful or dignified or compassionate, and now I have to sit with these uncomfortable feelings because I tried to throw my ball of pain at the Queen of Cups, and because she's a Queen of Cups, it rolled off her like water, because she recognizes, like, oh, that's not for me. You're really upset, you're really anxious, you're really whatever right now, as we all are, and so this isn't for me. I'm simply not going to internalize it because it's not for me. You feel me? Because there are people, Virgo, who are going to make you feel very precious this month and very special. If you're looking for love, if you're wanting to bond more deeply with your friends, this looks like a good time for it. Everything is on pause, so what isn't really important is becoming very, it's in stark relief what matters and what doesn't matter. So cultivate what matters to you, and what doesn't matter to you, to the extent that you can, let it roll off of you. You've come very far. And things, it feels like what I was right about to say is true, and it's strong words, but I'm just going to say it because that's how it was coming through channeled. Systems in general, but systems in your life right now are breaking down. The Hierophant is in your past, the Hanged One is in your future. Things changing absolutely. And you deciding, okay, if things are changing absolutely, how am I willing to walk into and work that change myself? Resistance in all times is futile, and it also just extends the time and the pain and all that. So walk into this change to the extent that you can, like in Aries. Like, oh, this is just a new adventure. Spirit just reminded me of Peter Pan, the book. Really wonderful book if you haven't read it. And there's a scene where Peter Pan is really sure that he's about to die because he's in very bad circumstances. And the author talks about how Peter Pan is thinking to himself, well, death shall be a very great adventure. And what do you know? He finds his way out of, dire circumstances. So think of this as an adventure. Think of it as something to find yourself and your power in, and you're going to fare better than well. You'll have the support you need. I hope that I have been a support to you here, Virgo. I'm glad that you're here. I hope that this is helpful for you, and truly that the time and energy you invest in listening to this pays for itself many, many times over. Sending you and your loved ones a lot of love, great health and vitality. Stay home as much as you can. Stay healthy. Take care of yourself and the ones you love. And if I don't see you in a video before then I hope I see you in May. Bye, Virgo.